Unc really about to rain down some wrath. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with the Ocean Saga of Epic the Musical. That's right, we're here with more Epic. I've really been enjoying this, and we're kind of keeping like our groove with this going. Every other week we get to a new saga and have something else in between. And last we left off, we had the Cyclops saga with Polyphemus and two different designs for Polyphemus as well. We had a design that was more of a Lovecraftian horror, and then we had the pretty standard Cyclops design, big man, a bit of an underbite. You get the gist. But last, where we left off, Odysseus let his hubris get the better of him and taunted Polyphemus after having already blinded him after stealing his sheep and getting everyone out of there, minus the ones who were killed already. He decided to reveal his true name and identity to Polyphemus, which, as we saw with Poly's smile, not a great thing. And yeah, it's like we also saw Athena kind of leave Odysseus's side. And like I mentioned last time, it's a little different than how the Odyssey actually goes. There's a lot more nuance with this entire thing in the Odyssey. But this is basically a abridged version, you could say. It's the story of the Odyssey, just told in a very abridged, shortened, simplistic way that's going to probably have gotten a lot of people into the actual story. Like, I know how popular Epic the Musical is. I feel like there's a lot of people who have gone and actually checked out the original story because of it. And that's awesome. Like those who just didn't happen to read it in school like a lot of us did. I did, obviously. I mentioned this before. I read it in school multiple times, and I've read it like once out of school, just out of school. Um, and it's just one of those stories that is just like one of the greatest stories ever told. It's just so exceptionally well written. It's epic, and it is the, as I said before, the birth of the epic, which is a type of story that spans this long, arduous journey for a like a major goal and everything. So I'm very excited to see how this continues. Now, I know what's about to happen. At least I know the gist of it. I don't know all the details because it's been a long time since I read the Odyssey. But I know the gist of what's about to happen. And yeah, the Ocean Saga is obviously pretty apt for it. I think we're going to see some pretty intense anger here. And we're really about to meet who could be considered the primary antagonist of the Odyssey. So this is going to be really cool. I'm really curious how the voice is going to be, how the songs are going to be, and just everything this is going to lead to. This is going to get pretty exciting. But just let you know right off the bat before we get this started, if you hear any sirens, if you hear any like honking or whatnot, there's been a Memorial Day parade going on over on the other street down there, and it's like it sounds good for now. Maybe it's done, I don't know, but there's been like a lot of honking and sirens and stuff, so just warning you just in case. I think it might be done as of this point, but just to be safe, letting you know that at least was going on. But all of that being said, let's just get into the Ocean Saga of Epic the Musical. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, Poseidon has arrived, and he's pissed, and rightly so. Odysseus let his ego get the better of him, but also continue to show mercy, continue to, be kind, and those two things together fucked him over big time and caused the deaths of hundreds of people. Because Odysseus has good intent, but doesn't always adhere to good action, I think is the best way of putting it. But let's talk about all four of these. So we start with the storm, or just storm. This song is obviously centering around the crew getting into this massive storm that's just wrecking them. It's going to throw them off course. It's going to, be very hard for them to survive and everything. And so they have to try and figure out what they can. They eventually notice an island in the sky and shoot to go for it. And that we see in Luck Runs Out is about them, about Eurylochus specifically, arguing with Odysseus on what to do and how to do it next, and everything about this island in the sky, the legends surrounding it and everything. And we can see that Odysseus is continuing to hold on to his kind spirit, his kind heart. He wants to make sure that everything works out well. But Eurylochus is like planting those seeds of doubt, and Odysseus doesn't want that, and rightly so. I mean, you get it. Because if those seeds of doubt are planted in the rest of the crew, then it could cause a mutiny, it could cause a lot of trouble getting back, it could cause issues that they just don't need in this time. But there's also, at the same time, an understanding of why Eurylochus is voicing these doubts, these questions. Why he's, so argumentative. Because Odysseus is kind of leading them into ruin. Again, unintentionally, he's not meaning to do it, he doesn't want to do it. But he is doing it. Because of his ego, his, self-centered goal, which is literally just all about getting him back to his family and everything. Which, mind you, of course he wants to get back to his family, but he's thinking about solely himself and not about his men. And he cares about his men. He very obviously does, but when his main goal is, so self-focused, it causes him to lose sight of what's best for everyone. And how to best go about this. He's making decisions based on his own needs and desires. Which, when you're leading a crew of 600 men, you really can't do. You have to lead based on the needs and desires of the entire crew as a unit. And it's something that Odysseus is definitely struggling with here. So, keep your friends close, is on the island in the sky. We meet Aeolus, who gives Odysseus the bag of winds. He's begging for help. He's like, "This storm is wrecking us. We need help. Can you please give us winds to get us through? Make sure they're good winds to lead us safely to home." And Aeolus is like, "Yeah, bro, I got you. Here's a magic bag, but don't open it. Don't open it. It's dangerous. You got to be careful with this magic bag of winds." But also, you see Aeolus kind of fuel the fire with the rumor of treasure amongst the crew. And so when Odysseus ends up falling asleep, the crew are the ones who open the bag and unleash the storm once again. This is, of course, bad, but it's the idea of Odysseus is too trusting. It's showing that he's not understanding how, to use a term from Ruby, the hearts of men are easily swayed. And curiosity alone can sway even the strongest of men. And I'm using men as in, like, mankind, by the way. Like, men, women, NBs, everyone. But you know what I mean. Um, it's it's a pretty intense lesson for him to learn, and in a pretty intense way. Because with the return of the storm and the song Ruthlessness, we get the arrival of Poseidon, the brother of Zeus and Hades, and the god of the sea. Poseidon, a lot of times, is shown with like flowing hair, a big beard, a crown, a trident, and all. So the form like we see in this is very different. First, he appears as like this horse, this almost selkie like creature, which I think is how he appeared in the Odyssey at first as well. But then we see like a human form, and in this animatic, the human form, like, for lack of a better comparison, makes me think of Rasputin. Like, not just the Rasputin from like the Anastasia animated film, but just in general, like the idea of like a Rasputin design that you see in a lot of media. Another example for you could be the King's Man, not Kingsman, the King's Man. It's the prequel to the Kingsman films. Rasputin's in that, and he kind of has that design. Doctor Who has Rasputin in it. Kind of has that basic design where it's like the long, straight black beard, the long, straight black hair, kind of thin and gaunt looking. Not typically the design you see. Like, for example, with the video game Hades, again, it's like flowing, wavy hair because it matches like the waves of the ocean. Um, I think I could bring up a picture real quick to show you like example. Poseidon, Hades. Well, it's not like flowing like wavy like that, but it's more like literal water kind of. Yeah, it's kind of flowing more upward and in waves, but the beard is like a chin beard in this version. But it's still like kind of more akin to like the standard of Poseidon that you typically think of. I think I was mostly thinking of a different form. Let me show this off. This is what he looks like in the video game Hades. So this is more akin to like the standard portrayal of Poseidon that you tend to think of, rather than the Rasputin looking motherfucker we got in this. And it's fine. I actually really liked the design. I think it worked well, and the horse design as well was fantastic. But also his voice, like, was not what I was expecting. I was expecting something closer to like what we heard from Zeus's in the Troy saga. something more booming and commanding rather than like smooth and like sexy. Like, for lack of a better way to put it, it's like there's some voices that are just sexy. Um like without even like seeing where the who's speaking and all. You could just like hear that voice and it just kind of melts you a little bit. There's like YouTubers and celebrities who have voices like that. Markiplier is a huge example. Though Markiplier's voice is a lot deeper as well. Honestly, I think he could like do a great voice for something like this, and he does have the ability to sing. He wouldn't say he's good at it, but I think he is. I think he's really good. He's just very humble about it. But like Idris Elba has one of those voices as well. It's just like some people, some actors, and all have voices like that are just like butter. And the singer for this was definitely amongst that. But yeah, Poseidon, either way, reveals to Odysseus that Polyphemus is his son, and that he's, basically here for revenge. That he hates Odysseus's, the difference between Odysseus's kind nature and his less than kind actions. The way he tries to be nice and helpful and save everyone, but also does these, self-serving things, actions, in order to, help his own goals. And even after Odysseus, like, begs, not even, like, saying sorry, but just begs and saying, like, oh, we only did it to save ourselves. It's like, that is the wrong answer, my dude. It's like, it's true. Like, you did only attack and blind him to save yourself, but you also actively set forward a trap ahead of time, and this all started because you were trying to steal his sheep, which, mind you didn't know about, but still. The gods are very fickle, and, like, the Greek gods are not going to look at the nuance of a situation as much. If you, like, offend them in some way, the nuance doesn't matter to them. Like, logically speaking, what Odysseus and them did wasn't entirely in the wrong. Because, again, they were fighting for their lives. They had to do it to survive. They didn't know the cave was Polyphemus's. They didn't know the sheep they were taking belonged to someone. The worst thing that they did, that Odysseus did, was, the entire nobody trick, and then bragging about who he is after defeating Polyphemus. And even Poseidon's like, you could have killed him and then this wouldn't have happened. Letting him live is literally what caused me to come after you. That wouldn't have happened. Well, not just letting him live, but also, revealing your true identity to him. If you just chose to not do one of those things, this wouldn't have happened. But the fact that in your kindness, you let him live, and in your ego, you had to, brag about your identity and who you are to him, that's what fucked you over. Both of those things together. And, I mean, Athena was kind of saying the same thing back then. Athena was saying to kill Polyphemus as well. So it's an idea that keeps being echoed. But Odysseus is like standing firm on not wanting to kill anyone. He wants to, he wants to keep to that open hand approach that Polites had been teaching him and save lives rather than end them. Which is noble and everything. But you shouldn't like go around like maiming and bragging about it to your enemies if you're going to not kill them, because it's only going to fuck you over. Like, I mean, obviously they didn't know Polyphemus was the son of Poseidon, but still. It was just a stupid decision. Now, to just talk about my thoughts on these songs, comparative to other sagas, for the first three of these songs, um, I was thinking, like, as I'm listening to this, it's like, they're not bad by any means, but this is by far the weakest set of songs we've had. It's just, the songs just aren't as good as, like, the first two sagas. And then we got to the final one here, Ruthlessness, which is definitely the best of this set, and I would honestly argue one of the best of the musical so far. I still say, like, overall the set is pretty weak because 3 out of 4 songs I think are weaker. Again, not bad by any means, just weaker than the rest of what we've got. But Ruthlessness, like, that one was really good. Like, that one really did it. And yeah, part of that is like having the lyrics from previous songs intermingled in them at points. That's always fun to see. Or I guess here, when musicals do that. Um, but I also just like the song in general. I thought, and of course, like I said, Poseidon's singer is phenomenal. I just think it was one of the better songs we've had overall. Um, I still say the Troy Saga is probably my favorite, but I think I think it's just otherwise they've been getting like weaker to me in terms of the music. It's like you started off so strong, and it's like it's not that the rest of the music is bad, it's just it's not able to live up to what you started with, which unfortunately can just happen. Um but yeah, I'm very excited to see where this goes, and I'm hoping the music does pick back up. If Ruthlessness is anything to go by, I assume it will. And it's also just a matter of subjective taste. It's like everybody has different tastes when it comes to music. It's very subjective. Um some of this music just hasn't been doing it for me as much. Um when you have songs like Ruthlessness, or going back here, um Just a Man, or The Horse and the Infant, when you have songs like that, um it's just some of the others just aren't as exciting because those songs are so dynamic and great. And again, for me, just speaking on my subjective viewpoint here, it's like those songs just knock it out of the park in a way that a lot of the others really don't. And even for the Troy saga, the rest of the songs in that, Full Speed Ahead, Open Arms, Warrior of the Mind, all of those are really good. All of those are really good. But like Just a Man, Horse and the Infant, and Ruthlessness are my three favorites so far. Those are definitely my three favorites. But like even the weakest of these songs would still be like a 7 out of 10. It's like the music is still great even when it's at its weakest. Like a 7 out of 10 is still really good. It's just that there are some songs here that are 10 out of 10s, and some of the other ones just don't live up to that. But that's expected. All musicals are like that. Hamilton is like that as well. There's some songs that I just can't get into as much. Um, Out of this set, if I were to say what my least favorite is, honestly, Luck Runs Out. I just was not into it. It was just kind of like, in terms of the music and the singing, I just feel like it wasn't that interesting. Obviously, my favorite is Ruthlessness. And I would say my second favorite is Keep Your Friends Close. That one almost got to the right point for me. I liked Aeolus's voice. I think that they did a great job with that. Um, it was interesting, but it wasn't quite to like my personal just level of interest in terms of music. And again, that's entirely subjective, and that's not to say it was bad. It just wasn't as good for me. Um, but yeah, Ruthlessness, top tier. And I know, it's all subjective. I know there's a lot of people who watch or listen to Epic who won't agree with me. There's some people who probably see some of these other songs that I'm not as big a fan of as some of the best. And that's the great thing about music, that we can all have our different opinions on it and all be correct. Like none of our opinions, none of our viewpoints are wrong because they're personal to us. What we love in music. And different people love and look for different things when it comes to music. That's why there's so many genres out there. Why you have like rock and metal and country and rap and R&B and dubstep and everything. There's so many genres of music out there because there's so many different tastes. And different people want different things out of music. Some people just want to like headbang. Some people really like their music to make them feel things. Some people um like country. I don't know. I don't know like the reasons people would like get excited over country are because I tend to not be super into country. Um but people like the speed and the rhythm of rap and stuff like that. And it's and by the way, I'm not trying to insult country fans. If you like country music, that's awesome. That's great. There's a lot of country music I love as well. Um, okay, let's talk about it for that way. For the country music I like, the like Garth Brooks, I like the emotional pull of it, the deep, like almost darkness to it. My favorite country song is Thunder Rolls by Garth Brooks. That is a dark ass song. So there's my view on the country music that I actually do like, typically. But either way, tell me in the comments below what are your thoughts on the Ocean Saga of Epic the Musical, and I guess we'll be back in 2 weeks. Again, we're kind of like falling into this pattern with this for the next saga. So thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.